And we are live with our 45th installment of Nansen Office Hours. Thank you for joining us today, GM, and welcome. You can hit the like button to say GM back, or you can slam dunk GM in the chat as well. My name is Alex. I'm the founder and CEO at Nansen. I'm also known as the Token God. If you're new to Office Hours, normally every Wednesday, this time Thursday, we host a live discussion. It was my birthday yesterday. That's why we didn't show up on a Wednesday. We talk about what's hot in crypto, DeFi, and NFTs. We leak some alpha, and we check out Nansen's new features, as well as answering questions from you. And today we have a very special guest with us, Simone Pomposi. Benvenuto.
Grazie, Alex. Thank you, Alex. I just found out that you speak Italian extremely well because you lived in Italy, so I'm very excited about it. We could almost do it in Italian, but then most people wouldn't understand. So
maybe we can do a session for the Fantom Italian community at some point.
They would love it. They would love it for sure.
Yeah.
But anyway, super happy to be here. It's I'm a huge fan of Nansen and what you guys do. So yeah, let's see what Nansen can offer for Fantom and in general.
Yeah, you're too kind. We're very happy to have you here as well. Do you want to give a quick introduction on who you are?
Sure. So, I'm Simone. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer at Fantom. I've been at Fantom for the past 2 years almost, but I've seen the project grow, and actually since before the private sale. So I've seen it since it was a little baby and then grow up. And as a matter of fact, I was one of the very first community members for Fantom.
Oh, wow.
And it's pretty cool. So I remember when the Fantom community was like, 200 people or something like that. And it was good. And as a community member with others, but I was very proactive. So I organized back in early 2019, a meetup in New York City. That's where I usually live. It was Fantom, IOTA, and Holochain. It was these 3 DAG-based networks, and Fantom sent Andre Cronje, and there was the first time that I met Andre in person. It was incredible, amazing, and the fun fact about that is that, and there's the YouTube recording of that, so you guys should check it out, because Andre did a better job at explaining IOTA and Holochain better than their speakers.
So, oh, really?
Yes, it's incredible. And then anyway, we kept in touch, and then towards the end of 2019, he reached out back again to me and say, "Hey, you want to join the team?" I was like, "Yeah, sure."
That's super cool. So I'm quite excited about this office hours because we're going to get the chance to learn more about Fantom. And maybe we can start there, actually. What's the role of Andre Cronje, who's this, iconic figure in DeFi? What's the role of Andre in Fantom?
Yes, the role of Andre is very mysterious, and it's been very, there's been a lot of speculation around it. It's like, is Andre an advisor? Did Andre leave the project years ago to do Yearn? And none of them are the right answers. So Andre is very much part of the core team at Fantom. He makes a lot of the big executive decisions together with Michael Kong, Fantom CEO. And so he has a very, very active role in terms of treasury management, operation, and everything that is sort of big at the foundation. Any big decision that regards the foundation, or again, operations and treasury management, and also, for example, the incentive program that we announced a month and a half ago. That's his idea together with Mike Kong and Michael Chen.
Got it. And so, if we take a step back, what is Fantom and how is it different from other blockchain projects?
Yeah, so Fantom is a layer 1 network, and the very big difference, say compared to Ethereum, is its consensus mechanism. So Fantom is built on Lachesis. Lachesis is an ABFT consensus mechanism that allows for super fast transactions, super cheap transactions. Without going into the technicalities of it, the consensus is DAG-based. The output is a blockchain, regular blockchain. But again, I would say that's the big difference to say again, Ethereum, BSC, or layer twos such as Polygon, Optimism, Arbitrum, and so on. If there's one blockchain, one project that is similar to Fantom, that would be Avalanche. They're both ABFT, so they both share that fast transaction speed and low cost, even though Fantom is cheaper than Avalanche. So I would say, transaction speed is similar, around 1 second, and one important thing is that transactions are final. So there's no confirmation. No need to wait for confirmations, because once they enter the network, they're final. There's no way to revert. There's no way to to do a reorg of blocks or anything like that. And the transaction cost goes from a fraction of a cent to a few cents, depending on smart contract interaction. And so it's all this sort of product gives an incredible user experience, especially for people that come from Ethereum, right? Because you come from Ethereum and you used to pay a few dollars or even dozens of dollars to make a transactions, wait 30 seconds, 60 seconds, a few minutes, or whatever it is. And on Fantom, it's pretty much instant and almost free.
Yeah, and you even use the same wallets like MetaMask and so on to interact with it, right? So
absolutely.
And I'm tempted to ask, surely there's no free lunch. So does it sacrifice anything like security, or what's the trade-off here?
Yeah, well, that's a really good question. So in theory, there's no trade-off, right? Because that's what the ABFT consensus allows for. So it's really sort of to solve that blockchain trilemma that Vitalik brought up a couple of years ago. So really, it's, Fantom is decentralized. Let's say decentralized enough, right? We have, I believe, almost 50 validators that, for some, it's not enough, and we're fully aware of it. The reason of that is because the network grew so much that our specs to run a validator sort of, they became too big too quickly, meaning that, also now you still need, we put up a governance proposal last month, actually, to lower the requirements for validator nodes to 500,000 FTM. But at current prices, we're still talking more than $1 million to run a validator node. And, that's pretty much inaccessible for most people. Yeah. So, of course, another amazing thing of Fantom is that we have this full-fledged and very, very deep on-chain governance. And, I'm assuming that in a very short time, we're going to make another proposal. I mean, no, when I say we, it's anyone in the in the network that can put up proposals to lower the amount once again. So yeah,
cool. So that makes it even more decentralized, right? That's the purpose, right?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, cool. That's super interesting. Yeah, I'm excited to dive into some of the Nansen dashboards as well to see what we can find in our new Fantom dashboards that we have in Nansen. And maybe we'll even try to bridge some funds over from Ethereum to Fantom and see what it's like, the experience, if people want to try it as well. Yes. So maybe we could just dive in here. Let me share my screen and we can see what we find. So we can do a little bit of a tour. Let's see. I'm going to share my window here. Then, can you see my screen now? It should be loading.
Yep.
Okay, awesome. So many people who've used Nansen before, you come in here, you see hot contracts, you see gas consumer accounts, etc. Up here to the right is where you can choose to switch to Fantom. And when you do that, some of these are grayed out because they are coming soon. We have to roll them out for the different chains. But you can immediately look at some of the different things. Actually, and before we look at token god mode and stuff like that, I think it could be nice to look at the high level ecosystem stats for Fantom. And so we have that under this Multichain tab. And we can see here, for example, the daily active addresses on Fantom has been basically exploded around the beginning of September. And so do you know why that happened? Like, what's the explanation for someone who hasn't seen it before?
Yes, for sure. So at the end of, actually in August 30th, we announced the incentive program. And I would say towards the end of September, it's when the incentives started to kick in.
Yeah, makes sense. Yes. And that's kind of like, it's a great way to bootstrap like community usage on DeFi protocols and so on. So what it means is that you can bring funds over to Fantom, and you can use, what are some of these projects that you could use? Like, is it Aave or ones that exist in Ethereum, or is it like brand new protocols? Or
Yeah, so it's a mix. So Aave specifically, we just ended the governance proposal. It's been fully successful, so they will come, but Aave is not on Fantom yet. I would say that the most used protocols are Fantom native. So yeah, Geist is actually the top one right now with in regards of TVL, and that's an Aave fork. And it's recently just came out a couple of weeks ago, and it's great. Then there's SpookySwap, the most used DEX in Fantom, and SpiritSwap, Beefy, a bunch of others. So these are the main ones. But I would say in Curve, of course, Curve is the first one of the sort of multi-chain protocols used on Fantom.
Very cool. You can actually see some of this stuff in the dashboard as well, because here we have like daily active addresses broken down by project. And so you can see SpookySwap that you mentioned, I think is one of the ones that's been around for a while, but it's kind of been growing actually, if you look at it over time. And you mentioned SpiritSwap as well, right?
Yep.
And Geist, you see, I guess Geist is a more recent addition, maybe like 10 days ago or something it launched.
Correct.
You can see it directly in the on-chain data actually. I don't know how easy it is to see on the screen there, but should I maybe is it better to see now? Like,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
I could see it already, but this is even better. Yes.
Yeah, nice. So this is by sort of number of addresses, and here you can see by traces, which effectively is transactions and internal transactions. And so here it's a bit clearer, like the total activity, not just on number of addresses, which is what you're seeing over here. It's quite nice because like I get the chance to explain Nansen to you, and you can explain Fantom to me. So like together we're like a super duo, which is fun. But so you have SpookySwap here, Fantom Finance, SpiritSwap, and then Geist again we see there that was pumping. Hyperjump seems to have been pretty big in the beginning, and then maybe a bit less now. SushiSwap also present. Scream. So this is a pretty good like weather report on like what projects maybe are worth looking at, and you can also see it in tabular format down here. So I guess to you, many of these projects are known, but for people who haven't used Fantom before, you can just go to Multichain Fantom, and you can start digging into the sort of ecosystem overview for this blockchain here. And another thing I was thinking we could look at before we start looking at the Fantom data directly, we could also look at FTM in token god mode. So if I switch back to Ethereum, and by the way, Simone, I know you've used Nansen before, right? But you don't think you don't consider yourself like an expert Nansen user.
Absolutely.
So like you can also stop me and ask questions as well, like as we go through this stuff.
Sounds good. So actually, if you don't mind, I want to share my Nansen story, right? That about a year ago, I have a friend was like, hey, you have to check this out. It's amazing, and he uses this daily, right? And so I sign up, I log in. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm looking at. So this is to say that especially in Fantom, there are many people that are not familiar with Nansen yet. So this will be super helpful for them as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love it. There are many people who it's kind of overwhelming, right? That's also one reason why we do this video, so that we can help people get started with it. So now I went into token god mode, right? And this is a dashboard that allows you to look at a specific token. Now we're looking at FTM. We're still on Ethereum, right? So we're looking at the FTM token on Ethereum. And in fact, this is a feature that we are currently testing in alpha, where you have a watch list. So now I added FTM to my watch list, which makes it more easy to find again in other dashboards, and I can keep track of it in my own personal watch list of tokens. But so now that's added to my watch list. The first thing you see here is the liquidity situation on exchanges. So how much FTM tokens are available on different exchanges, both centralized and decentralized. Right now, that number is 38%, but you can see how it has evolved over time. And you can also see per exchange how it's evolved over time. So Binance is currently the place that holds the most FTM tokens, at least on the Ethereum network. SushiSwap is a big one that has FTM tokens as well on Ethereum. But I imagine when we look into Fantom chain itself, we're also going to find quite a bit of Fantom tokens on that side, right? But you can see how this is, how tokens have been flowing into these different exchanges in aggregate and how they've been flowing out as well. And so why does this matter? Well, if you want to understand where you have the most liquidity, you could go to these places, and these numbers, the exchanges can't manipulate them. Like they can't make up trading volume or do wash trading or anything, because it's just how much of the assets that they're holding in liquidity. So if I was going to do a DEX trade swap with FTM on Ethereum, I would probably go to SushiSwap to do that, because they have quite a lot of liquidity, which means I will get better pricing typically. So that's like one takeaway. Then we can go to notable wallets, and we can look at some notable wallets that have been accumulating FTM tokens or receiving them. So this is what balance changes shows. It shows you per address over time where you have an inflow of tokens into these addresses. So here's a smart money wallet, interesting, labeled as a token billionaire. But we also have a Binance wallet, a Gemini deposit wallet, FTX. And if you flip it around, you see a lot of tokens coming out from Unit protocol, not sure why. Some funds that were probably consolidated from Binance user deposit wallet, and some KuCoin wallets and so on. But you can also see, wow, okay, this is pretty interesting. The Unit protocol thing is from, maybe we shouldn't make any speculation here on who this is. There's funds going from Unit protocol to the very first wifey farmer, it turns out, into a Binance deposit wallet.
I wonder who that is.
Yeah, who could that be? I don't know. And then you have top balances, Fantom bridge, which is, I guess, where you send the funds to move the FTM over to Fantom, right? And then you see like KuCoin, FTX, SushiSwap, etc. So is it like, does this make it a little bit clearer, like how to navigate Nansen, at least this dashboard in God mode?
For sure. Yes. Yeah.
Cool. So this can be used to just get an immediate overview, right? Like what's happening on chain. And the reason, I think Nansen is useful is that we have all these labels, which just makes it easier to get an overview instead of like looking at direct addresses all the time, which is like pretty hard to keep track of. So you can also look at some macro stats here. You see the unique addresses that hold FTM. And that's been pretty much like skyrocketing up to like past 40,000 unique addresses. And you can also see trades on DEXs in aggregate. So that's pretty cool. So that's token God mode, right? The cool thing is we can actually switch network here. So let's go to Fantom, and we could maybe look at a few different tokens. I don't know so there's FTMO. Is that the right one, or should you be looking at something?
No, that's not the right one.
Maybe we should, let's see if maybe it has like a special address here, because it's like, or there's wrapped FTM. And because FTM is basically like the Ethereum equivalent, right?
Yes, correct.
So you have the wrapped one here that you could see. And we can look at a couple of other ones as well. But you can see for wrapped Fantom, like what's the liquidity situation there? SpookySwap and SpiritSwap are like the two places where you have the most liquidity. You also see Balancer. Do you know if there's, I guess this yellow one is Balancer. Do you know if there's been some kind of like liquidity incentives for Balancer, or?
Do we have Balancer on Fantom?
Looks like it here.
Yes, this is new for me. Okay.
Okay. Interesting. We can see it. We can see in the notable wallets if we should have. I mean, I guess that's how we tagged it, right? So let's see. Balancer Vault. So maybe that's why there's like a vault where they have.
Okay.
on FTM, maybe on Fantom. Maybe it's not like the DEX itself launched, but it's like the balancer team or something like that on Fantom.
Yeah.
Not sure.
Okay.
But right away, you can break that down. We can actually look at this address. So that's another thing you can do here. You can drill down and you can like click any address, and we can see, hey, let me inspect this balancer vault, which, by the way, doesn't only hold wrapped FTM. It also holds like USDC. It holds ETH, Beats, Mematic, and so on. And so I could look at. So sorry, let me just go back. This is the activity it has had. And you can also see in the counterparties here, you can see the transaction volume that they've been doing back and forth. Yeah. So that's like the wallet profiler that you can use. And now I can also like save this and add it to my watch list. And so now this address, I could, for example, keep track of it later, add some like smart alerts or things like that.
Wow.
Yeah. So I don't know, is it going too fast or like, yeah?
No, it's amazing. I love the granularity of it, right? It really goes deep, levels deep in it. It's beautiful.
Yeah. What I like about this, it's like you can kind of go to this top level view. Let's say now I went to hot contracts here. This is showing you which new smart contracts have the most inflow in capital in the last like 1 hour or 24 hours or even 1 week. And you can also see like how many smart money addresses have put money into these. And you can also play around with this parameter. So maybe I want to look at smart contracts that have been deployed in the last 30 days. And now I filter that so I get like a larger pool of addresses. And what I like, as you were pointing out, is that you can just spot stuff right away and you can keep drilling down, right? You can like try to figure out like who's putting funds into this address. Can I learn more about this token, and so on and so forth. So that's kind of the nice thing where you can drill up and down at any granularity. I'm seeing some names here like Geist and SpookySwap, QiDao, Beethoven. So like Geist, do you know what that is? Like, can you explain it if you know what it is?
Yes. Geist is amazing. They just deployed, I think 10 days ago or something, and it's an Aave fork.
Ah, okay.
Yes.
So it's kind of like the equivalent of Aave on Fantom.
Yep, correct.
Nice, cool. So what we could do here, we could do a few different things actually. We can click this one, and you can see there's actually wrapped Fantom tokens that are held in this smart contract address, which is interesting. So maybe we can figure out, maybe those are liquidity incentives or something like that for people to use this token, or?
Yeah, I guess. So on Geist, it's like Aave. So you can deposit, FTM, you can deposit ETH, you can deposit stable coins for lending and then for borrowing and all that.
So do you remember the website? Maybe I can just look it up quick.
Yeah, it's geist.finance.
.finance, cool. All right, so what we're seeing here is basically this one, I guess, right? Because this is like a token itself. So this is the GFTM token. And you have like 380. Yeah, that's roughly what you see here. The 388 here. $1 million worth of wrapped Fantom tokens that are locked in that contract. That's cool. And so I would actually, normally I would probably want to drill down and look at wallet profiler for token on this. We haven't shipped that yet for Fantom, but soon you're going to be able to see, break down who has been depositing, which addresses have been depositing the 385 million. So we don't have that yet, but it's coming soon. I could maybe show you an example of that with Ethereum, on Ethereum afterwards, to see what it will look like. This is, then we're back to wrapped FTM. Maybe I should just take a check if there are any questions in the chat here in the meantime. Let me see. I can stop sharing for a sec and see if there are any questions. Someone is asking
Ooh.
when will Fantom be listed on Coinbase? I guess
That I wish I knew, but I don't know. I have no idea. And even if I knew, I couldn't say anything anyway. So,
makes sense.
but
And
they're
then
right. See, the community knows better than me, of course. Beethoven is a balancer fork. I mean,
yeah, that's cool. That it actually happens a lot of the time that people know more about this stuff than us. So yeah, okay, it's a balancer fork. Then they're asking any updates on the CBDC deal.
Yes, not yet. So yeah, just to give some context, we announced a CBDC work in Tajikistan a couple of weeks ago. There's been some miscommunication between the national bank and the bank that was handling the CBDC for them. So we're waiting for further clarification.
Cool. That's pretty interesting. So effectively, there's a chance that Fantom's going to be used in that project.
Yes.
That's very exciting. Let me bring up my screen again here. Let's see. Yeah, do you have any questions about Nansen, like how to use it or what
really. I mean, to be honest, I'm just enjoying seeing and watching what you're doing, because it's a new world that is opening up for me. It's great.
Yeah, it's like watching someone play StarCraft or something, right?
Yes.
That's how I kind of view it as well when I see other people use Nansen. So what else do we have here? So there's hot contracts that people can test out. That's to see the inflowing capital, and it's a good way to discover yield farms, sometimes NFTs, and so on. So that's under discovery. Then there's token God mode, which we looked at for wETH. And there's also wallet profiler, which allows you to take any address and effectively understand better what it's doing, which projects it's interacting with, and so on. You also have smart alerts. So perhaps we could have a quick look at that. So actually, let's do that right away. So smart alerts is effectively triggers that you can set up so you get notifications in your Telegram, Discord, or Slack when certain events happen. So for example, I could say that I want to be notified anytime I see a large wrapped FTM transfer take place on Fantom. So, sorry, not here. If I click show more and I select tokens, and if I now do WTF, right? That's the Freudian slip there. wETH. I select this token and I say, I want notifications every time I see 10 million in minimum USD value. And I only care about token transfers, and I can say maybe large WFTM. Is that right? Yeah. Okay. Yep. Not WTFM. Transfers. And I go down and I enter my Telegram ID, which you can get help here to find out how you get the Telegram ID. But you could also use Discord or Slack. And this is going to shoot out a notification in real time when you have such a large transaction. So
that's awesome. And yeah, question that enter addresses, you could also just monitor a few addresses, right? Or one or more.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Wow.
So I think we kind of spotted an interesting address earlier, which was the first Wi-Fi farmer, right?
Yes.
If you wanted to look at that, you could. I think that was on Ethereum though, but well, let's have a look. Maybe we see something interesting in token God mode, where you see some notable wallets. So now I'm going back to token God mode, and I went to notable wallets here. And oh, by the way, that's a balancer vault. You see, it's a star now because I saved it as one of my watch list addresses, so it pops out a bit more, which is kind of nice. Let's see if there's any interesting ones. Maybe some large transactions here. There's a lot of Scream and Geist transactions, it seems. I was hoping we'd find the large or the first Wi-Fi farmer. Maybe I'll go back to Ethereum to spot the first Wi-Fi farmer, and I will go FTM, and I will see in the notable wallets. There we go. Boom, this guy. So I'm gonna open up that, this is going to give me the wallet profiler for this one. And so maybe I want to star this guy as well. I'm going to add it to my watch list. And so now I can grab this address up here, right? Just grab it from the URL. I go back to the smart alert and I paste it in. And now I can say, you know, burst, Wi-Fi, farmer, large, FTM transfer. And so that's going to notify me when that happens. I could also add more addresses, and I can like compile a bunch of whales or something that I might be interested in and get notifications when that's, here's like a token billionaire. Not sure who that is. Maybe that's the circling that's going on there. Who knows? Swapping up the wallets. But yeah, so here's a smart LP, for example. So if I wanted to grab this guy, take the address, go back and paste it in here. And now I'm, you know, whale FTM transfers. Yeah, so you kind of get the idea. It's pretty useful. And people who make use of this generally love Nansen even more because it's a pretty helpful feature that helps you keep on top of things, and you don't miss out on action that you might be interested in.
Of course. Wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
So let me show you one cool thing as well that the guys wanted me to show here. So, because this is maybe a good segue into, and where you can explain a bit how people can actually get started with Fantom, like how do you move your funds over to Fantom. And so, sorry, I clicked the wrong link. This one here, it's just a link I had in the background, is the AnySwap Fantom bridge. And so this is showing effectively transactions that are going out of the AnySwap Fantom bridge. So that's like the activity that's going on there, or the usage of that smart contract over time. Looks like it's pretty much at an all-time high lately. So that's one bridge, right? AnySwap. Are there other bridges? Like, how do people actually move their funds over to Fantom?
Yeah, that's the main bridge. Actually, we do have also in a couple of others, you know, like Ren and a couple of others. But yeah, AnySwap is definitely the most used, and people don't use AnySwap directly. They either use multichain.xyz.
Multichain.xyz.
Yep.
This one, yeah.
And that's Andre's bridge, or you know, for even better user experience, then it's SpookySwap. SpookySwap.finance.
Swap.finance.
Then you go in bridge, and super
this
simple.
One.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm kind of tempted to like test out these bridges.
Sure, let's do it. Actually, you know, I don't want to forget also SpiritSwap recently released their bridge as well. Again, you know, still built on AnySwap, so they're still using the same liquidity and you know, and smart contracts, but it's it's worth mentioning them as well. Yeah, here it is.
Is the right URL? I don't want to send any.
No, that's it. Yes.
Okay, cool. So we have AnySwap, you have Multichain XYZ, SpookySwap.finance, SpiritSwap.finance, and these guys basically all have bridges.
Yeah.
And do you know if I don't know how easy it is to answer this, but like, is there any major difference between the bridges, or like what would you recommend? Yeah.
Okay. So again, they're all built on AnySwap, so they're all using AnySwap. So the changes are just the front end.
Okay.
And
got it.
For front end, I do prefer. So I haven't tried SpiritSwap as well, but I was using Multichain. Then Spooky released their bridge, and it's just amazing. You know, it's so easy. Multichain is a little bit clunky, but you know, Spooky really offers an amazing user experience.
Sweet. Yeah, why don't we bridge some funds over here? Let me just, I think I need to stop my screen share and switch to the other browser here. 1 second.
Yep.
See if I'm able to do that. Yeah, here we go. I think this should be correct. You can see my screen now, right?
Yes.
So this is one thing you were showing me earlier. Like, if people want to, the first thing you have to do is like add the right network, right?
Yes.
And so
Fantom is EVM compatible. So, you know, of course, MetaMask works with Fantom, and yes. then you have to do exactly this. So add all the information of the network to MetaMask.
Exactly. So you literally search for Fantom here. You see Fantom Opera, which is like the main net, and then there's a test net. You click switch network, and now it's been like added to your MetaMask. I have 10 ethereum. I think someone sent me a gift. Amazing.
Yes. And it took 1 second to send it to you, so that's incredible.
That's pretty cool. Actually, maybe so. What's the FTM scan is what you use, right? So that's like the equivalent of Etherscan.
Yeah.
So can we actually just test this? I want to send some back to you. Like I want to see how fast it is. So I guess I just go here. I go send. I paste in your address. I send 1 FTM. I'm giving up 10% of my FTM wealth here. Generous. So gas price. Do I mess with this at all?
No. Leave it. Yeah. Fantom works a little bit different than Ethereum, so just leave it as it is.
So you don't have to worry about it. Yeah. So I'm sending this, and let's see how quickly you have to tell. Do you have it open on your side? Like, let's see how fast you can tell us when you see it in your wallet.
I do. Okay, let's try. But both MetaMask and FTM scan are slower than the network. So
than the actual network. That makes sense.
Yes.
So I'm sending it here at least, and it says pending. But it looks like maybe it was sent. Let's see. Okay, cool. That was pretty fast. Like, do you have it on your side, or I guess you do, right? Because you can just see it here. So
I do. I don't see it in MetaMask yet, but I do see it in.
Slower, but Etherscan or FTM scan is pretty fast. Okay.
Yeah, I see it in. So it's 26 seconds ago and 12 block confirmation already. So
makes sense. And so I think I want to use what was it, SpookySwap that you said was the best one?
Yep.
I'm going to paste that in. And we're going to now bridge from Ethereum to Fantom. So then I have to actually switch back again, right? Like to Ethereum mainnet.
To Ethereum, yes.
And so maybe I'll send like 1 Ether. Can I just say ETH? Or is it just tokens?
Wait, you're right. Yes, you can't send ETH. I forgot about that. You can send wrapped ETH, but not ETH. Yes.
So I have to wrap the ETH first.
Yeah.
Is that the same for all the bridges, or?
Yes. Yeah.
Makes sense. So I guess I just go to like Uniswap or something to wrap it, or?
Yep.
Cool. So let's see. I'm gonna wrap. I don't think I have any wrapped Ether, so I'm gonna wrap this one. Let's see. What is it gonna cost me? Not too bad. Like less than $20, like for Ethereum. Not too bad.
Okay.
And so of course it's gonna take a bit of time. Looks like we have a 90 GWE gas price here, so not the craziest I've seen. But I guess now we get to see the difference, like in terms of speed, right, between Ethereum and Fantom. So here we're wrapping this. And it's going to take some time when we bridge over as well, right?
Yes, it's going to take a couple of minutes for again, because Ethereum is a little bit slower, so to speak.
Yeah.
And it's funny because if you do the same thing on Fantom, so if you wrap FTM, of course it's going to be almost immediate, and it's going to cost you, I don't know, $0.001.
Makes sense.
Instead of 28, whatever it was. So.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I think what I've heard from people is that when they start using chains like Fantom, it's kind of rough to go back again to Ethereum because it's slower and like the fees are so much higher. But at the end of the day, I think Ethereum gets this role as like the Manhattan kind of blockchains where, there's always going to be a lot of network effects, but you can't expect everything to happen on Manhattan. Like people, of course, have to live in other parts of the city. So I guess that's where you get this, like, it's kind of the heart in many ways, but you get other chains around it.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so it looks like that was wrapped. I'm going to go back to SpookySwap. I'm going to select wrapped Ether. Boom. And then, what does it say here?
Connect
wallet.
Yes.
Wallet.
That's very important.
Let's do that. There we go. Max. Okay. bridge token to Fantom. And so I'm going to do 1 ETH there, confirm. Cool. And of course, that now takes a bit of time. I'm looking, it's like 9:39 p.m. on my side. So of course, we're not just going to stare at this all the time, but we can go back to Nansen and look at that a bit. And in the meantime, we'll see how long do you think it would take? Like roughly how many minutes?
I would say total maybe 3 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. 3 minutes. Okay. So maybe we'll check back at 9:42, and I think I just jump into Nansen from here in the background here. And so maybe one thing I can show you that I was kind of like wanted to show you with Fantom, but we haven't released it yet. But as like someone who hasn't used Nansen that much, it's quite nice to be able to drill down and see, who's been depositing funds into a specific smart contract. So maybe we can take an example here from Ethereum. And so let's look at something like USDC. And by now, you know how to use token God mode. So you've seen this before. We can go to notable wallets and we can scroll down to the top balances, for example. So, look at that, blockfolio.eth. You can scroll down to, let's see here. Maybe we can look at the USDC staking pool for DYDX, right? So here it has like $834 million in USDC. You can actually right-click this, and this is a pretty new feature. And you can open up different drill downs for this address. So maybe top depositors is interesting because that's like the way you can figure out who has been depositing funds into the contract. And so, this is hilarious. Justin Sun has put in $440 million in DYDX USDC staking pool. That's funny. So that's the kind of stuff you can discover. And soon we're going to have this also for Fantom available. I don't think we have it yet, but I can like double check. Maybe it was just the view that we were looking at earlier. And I didn't spot it, but let's see. So now I'm also looking at USDC, right? And maybe you want to look at this curve one. Yeah, we don't have it yet. So this is where it's going to show up when you right click, and it will be here very soon. In the meantime, you can use Wallet Profiler, which gives you kind of similar view, but not exactly the same. So this just shows, it actually doesn't show you for the token. So not super useful actually. But soon you're going to be able to see when Justin Sun puts 440 million USDC on Fantom as well into it.
I heard that Justin Sun put, the sizable amount of mine in Geist, if I'm not mistaken. Yes.
That's interesting. Maybe something we could try to look into. Although I'm not sure we have propagated all the labels from the Ethereum mainnet to Fantom yet. But yeah, when we have this feature, we should be able to see that.
Nice.
Cool. Should we see how it's going with the transfer here?
Yes.
Done. Deposit transfer. Or does that mean it's already done? Or
Yep. Yeah.
So I'm going to switch back to Fantom Opera.
Yes.
And then assets, FTM. I guess maybe I have to import tokens or.
Yeah, if you don't see it, I mean, Spooky makes it easy for you. You go in the drop-down list there.
This one here.
Yes. See, it's already. No, it's already there. Yeah, and then
add token, boom. Now I have one wrapped ether. Sweet.
Yeah.
I think I want to put this into Geist. Or like maybe the correct way to do this is like, let me look at hot contracts in Nansen and like see if there's anything that's hot. SpookySwap pools. And by the way, always do your own research with this stuff. Don't just put money into anything that is at the top of the list here. Could be scams. Like it's hard to know exactly, but this is just meant to help you surface stuff that you might not be aware of. Actually, this Chi-DAO, what do you know? Yes. Any idea what that is? Or
yeah, Chi-DAO, they just deployed on Fantom last week.
Okay, and so this is Mai.finance, right? I think I've not done this before. So let's see, enter app. No wallet connected. I'm gonna connect here, top right. Oh, here, it's down there. It's not top right. MetaMask. Okay. I don't have any vaults. Too bad. Create vault, I guess. This one, I suppose. Create vault. So here, it's very cheap to create the vault, right? So I guess that's...
Should be, yes.
So I'm just going to create a vault. That's, I guess, the difference, right? When you're on these, this is, you have to be careful if you're doing this at home. Like now we are fairly confident that this, I'm not going to get rugged in this transaction. But also the nice thing is that because the transaction fees are so low, you can experiment a bit more with using these dApps than you can in Ethereum. Because in Ethereum right now, you end up spending maybe $20, $50, $100 per transaction in some cases, which unfortunately makes it a bit less fun to experiment.
For sure. And also the other thing is that, of course you can just experiment, but also you can experiment with any sum of money. You can, you can just put to $1 or $1 worth. And,
exactly.
Because the transaction is so cheap that, you can use very small amounts.
Yes. So while this is spinning, I guess maybe this is like it's actually gone through, but the app is not showing it. Not sure. Yeah, it looks like it went through here. So it's probably just like a bug in the UI. So if I just refresh this, let's see if this works. Sometimes these UIs are a little bit buggy. Do you know if are there ways to prevent that or fix that by changing RPCs or like? Yeah.
No, the RPC that you put in through Chainlist, it's already the correct one. That is rpc.ftm. Well, let me see.
Here we go.
rpc.ftm.tools. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Perfect.
So here I can deposit, let's say I deposit 1 Ether. Then, this is like 3 cents. Presumably I can just pull that out again if I want. This is not how you should do things at home, right? You should do your own research and everything, but we're just experimenting a bit here. I could also put a bit less than 1 Ether in. And so I presume this is equivalent to what MakerDAO is on Ethereum. So now, I actually have to approve it first. Is that what I just did? Let's see. Yeah, I just approved it. And now I can deposit it. So here, I guess, again, I could be a bit more conservative, but let's just do it. Put 1 Ether into this vault. And I guess I can start borrowing Mai, which is the equivalent of DAI. I saw some questions in the chat, by the way. Someone was asking if you're going to get NFTs on Fantom. When Fantom NFTs?
When Fantom NFTs? Well, we have many NFTs on Fantom. So when are we going to get Nansen support for NFTs on Fantom?
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah. So how do people get Fantom NFTs? What sites?
Yeah, there's a couple of marketplaces. There's our own Artion.io. Yes, this is the one that we released, as a foundation a couple of weeks ago. It's a bit buggy. We're ironing out all the bugs, and the V2 should come out quite soon, the next couple of weeks, I would say. Nice. However, I would say the most used marketplace right now, it's PaintSwap. So PaintSwap.finance. Amazing guys, amazing team. So definitely recommend that one as well. And of course, there's a few sales actually. There's a lot of activity in the NFT space on Fantom. The most recent is Pierre Gasly, the Formula One driver, and also Fantom ambassador. They released his NFTs yesterday. They're going on. The auctions are going on his page on Artion, and so yeah.
Very cool. So I kind of want to buy some of these NFTs as well. Maybe I'll do that afterwards. But I put all my Ether into that vault, I guess. So would have to pull that back out again. I guess I have to pay with FTM here?
FTM, yes.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. Actually,
So-
WFTM, but you can wrap FTM on Artion directly. There's a wrap station in Artion.
So okay, so I can borrow, and presumably there is some kind of like liquidity mining incentives. I don't know if you're up to date on that or.
On QiDAO, I should be up to date, but I'm not, so I'm not sure about it.
Okay, there's a fee here on repayment, so I might not borrow actually. I think I'll just put my pull the money back out again and like get some NFTs or something. Since we're gonna do this quickly, but it shows how I can spend, I guess, very little gas fees, just like playing around with these different dApps. So now I'm withdrawing the 1 ETH again. Who knows? Maybe that makes me eligible for a retroactive airdrop at some point. Would be amazing.
And actually, yes, I'm looking at year transactions, and yeah, it's 3 cents to do these things, and it's pretty nice.
That's cool. I actually wonder how quickly, I should probably know this, but how quickly this stuff propagates back into Nansen. I kind of want to look up my own address in Nansen now to have a look. So if I go to the wallet profiler, will we actually see my transactions? So I'm going to go to Fantom. This is like Inception. So we go to wallet profiler. I'm going to paste in my own address. There we go. I can see my Fantom here.
And it's pretty much real time because,
Yeah, I have my Ether as well.
Yep.
Yeah, because you have instant finality, right, on Fantom.
Yep.
So that's how it works on our side. Then we're just streaming the data right into our database, and we don't have to worry about reorging, which you have to do when you don't have instant finality.
Yeah.
So that's pretty sweet, actually. So you can see counterparties here, but this is mostly around FTM, which I didn't really use, right? I just got the 10 from you and I sent it back to you again.
Yeah.
But when we have support for like tokens, you can see the QiDAO as well. Oh, cool. Nice. Yeah, you see the wrapped ETH vault. So now you can see basically what I've been doing here. I think I might save my own address. Alex, on the watch list. Maybe that's a bug. Looks like we have a bug if the product team is watching. Maybe it's because it's on a different chain. But yeah, that's pretty cool actually. So you can see what I'm doing on Fantom afterwards when I scoop up all these NFTs. Yeah.
And by the way, I have a question for you. I mean, super short. I don't need a very long answer. But how did you come up with Nansen?
The name or
no? The whole thing.
The platform.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, really, it was about kind of scratching my own itch. Like I was, so I started working in the crypto space in 2017. And I'm a data guy, so I always collected data on various different things. In the beginning, I was collecting data on ICOs. So I built up like a massive, close to real-time system for tracking ICOs across lots of different websites, consolidating all the information. And I actually went on to sell that piece of technology to another company. But so that sort of led me to looking at on-chain data, which I found very fascinating and like unique to blockchains. And I met my now co-founder at one of my 2 co-founders, Evgeny, because he had built an open source project for blockchain analytics and blockchain data. It's called Ethereum ETL. And I was trying to do exactly the same thing as him. Like, how can I query this data with SQL so that it's easy to use? And I found his repo 1 week after he published it. I was probably like one of the first people to come across it. And I was able to hire him for my team at the company I was working at in Hong Kong. That company went to shit. And like a year later, we ended up creating Nansen together, which actually sits on top of his open source project. But we have this proprietary data in addition with wallet labels that we put on top of it. And of course, the whole analytics platform and all that stuff. So that's the very short story of how we ended up building it.
No. It's awesome. I mean, because I really can tell from the way that you use Nansen that you really love it. You create it for yourself, right?
I did, yeah. So
Yes.
yeah, that's the thing. Like it was like 2019, right? And DeFi summer started in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, I need better tools for this stuff. So
Yeah.
like, I want to know who's like, literally, I wanted to know who's putting money into the Wi-Fi yield farming, right? I was farming Wi-Fi together with the first Wi-Fi farmer that we were just looking at. And so I was like, but who else is farming this stuff, right? And so I built with the platform we had created, I built like dashboards to help me monitor who's putting money into Wi-Fi. And then we figured like, hey, this is like a product, right? It's pretty useful. So we were sharing it with other people, but always building for myself pretty much in the beginning. At this point, we are like almost 60 people at Nansen. So like
Wow.
many of them are building for themselves, but of course we primarily build based on what our users want now.
Yeah. And it's funny because actually, so back when I was a community member of Fantom, back when Fantom started, I also started learning Python a little bit. And one of the first things that I did with Python was actually build a scraper for Etherscan back then to scrape the first, 100 wallets that were holding FTM. And I was also comparing, daily, weekly, monthly. So, it's, of course, it was super rudimentary, but, there's some similarities. So it's amazing what I'm seeing.
Yeah, 100%. It's also really cool, your journey, how you started as a community member and then you are now like part of the core team. Maybe, do you want to talk a bit about like how that happened or?
Well, I mean, it just, I would say it happened very naturally, right? Because like, as I said, I've always been in touch with the team since the beginning. I knew Michael Chen since before Fantom. And then, I always been in touch, kept in touch with him, kept in touch with Andre, as I said, after we met. And and it turns out that, I could actually probably add some value to Fantom. And, and here I am. And
Yeah,
but the thing is that that really, it's interesting. It's that, Fantom for me, or at least, this job, let's call it job, but I just have fun. I have a lot of fun. I enjoy what I do, and it really doesn't feel like a job at all. It's great.
Yeah, that's what it's like working in crypto, right? It's like once you start doing it, you start thinking, how can other people work in other industries? I don't get it.
That's true. But when it comes to me, again, I never thought of it as a job anyway. I decided that I wanted to work, in this, but not even work. I wanted to be part of this big, technological shift and change that is happening. So I was like, how can I contribute? I didn't really know back then, but then it turned out okay. And, so that's great.
So do you have any advice for people who maybe are active in like Discords and different communities, like if they want to take that step, like what's your advice?
For sure. So being active in the communities, of course, it's the best thing that you can do. And regardless the skills, right? In crypto, I mean, personally, I mean, I don't care about titles, I don't care about resumes, but just show, we care a lot about output. So you can come from, whatever you want and show zero output, then you offer zero value, or you can just, be, I don't know, a 20-year-old, but with a ton of, you're very proactive. You can do stuff and you can create a lot of value and output. Then absolutely you're going to find your place in crypto. So yes, start from the community, and then you will be noted no matter what. People will see what you're doing, and potentially either reach out to you directly, or if they don't, then reach out to people. Reach out to people reach out to me and people in similar positions in other projects, because there's really space for everyone at this point. Space for people that are self-starters, self-motivated, and they really want to be part of this. And absolutely do it.
Cool. So what's the easiest path into the Fantom Discord, where I guess that's like the headquarter?
Yeah, I mean, the Fantom Discord is chat.fantom.network. You can go in there. We also have a Telegram channel, and you can find it on our website. The website is fantom.foundation. And yeah, absolutely. But not just that, don't stop at the Fantom community. Go in the Fantom projects, right? Go into, Spooky, Spirit, Geist, all the 70, 80 projects that have been deployed right now. And I've seen people that are working within those projects that are amazing. And, and most of them, they come from the community. So.
Yeah, that's really cool. So maybe to remind people again, like if you're a Nansen user, you can actually go in here and you can look at these top projects here, like SpookySwap, SpiritSwap, Geist, Fantom Finance. This is a pretty good place to start if you wanted to figure out like what are the different dApps that people are using on Fantom. But I wanted to ask you, like, do you know what Rarity is?
Yes, of course. Rarity is Andre's game. Yes, it's an NFT game similar to Loot, actually, but not even similar to Loot. It's amazing. So Andre built it, but without the front end. So now there are a few teams that built the visuals for this role-playing game. It's incredible.
That's really cool. Is there like a website to go to look at that? Or?
There's a couple of those. Let me see. One could be Rarity Tools. Let's see. Or Rarity Visualizer also. I mean, there's a bunch of them. Let me send you.
Visualizer.
Yes.
This one here, the first one, or?
Yes.
Oh yeah, connect.
Yep.
I guess so, right?
Yeah. And here you can summon characters and then make them do stuff and build skills and all that, all that stuff.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
So if I do this, I'm like minting one, or?
Yep.
Let's do it. I want to summon a warrior.
Yeah, do it. And of course, compared to, I mean, again, as I said, the most similar thing was maybe Loot on Ethereum, but Ethereum transactions cost really doesn't, it's really not suited for gaming or anything like that. And now we probably spent, yes.
So this is my player. This is pretty cool. So, okay, warrior name, Pangu. Assign. Okay, so you actually do the stuff on chain.
Yes.
Wow. And I got stats, skills, feats, inventory, crafting. How the hell does Andre have time to do all this stuff? Like he must constantly ship code.
Yes.
And okay, so now I'm assigning the name, and then I can like assign the points, or I've got 32 points here, I guess, or yeah, there we go. So I put everything. Well, I'm a wizard, so it's stupid to put it on strength. I want to put it on intelligence. Boom. Maybe some wisdom, and maybe a tiny bit of charisma. No, I don't have any more for charisma. Maybe 1 point. And then I click here, and then boom. So this is pretty fun. Yeah, I think I have to do this offline, but it looks pretty fun. That's cool. I like it a lot. Pangu.
And there are many interfaces, right? So there's, I think, 3 or 4 different websites, and of course, with all different, they look different. So, but whatever you do here, of course, it's being reflected on any of them because it's in the back end. But so you're going to see different artwork as well.
Yeah, I kind of want to look at the wallet profiler again to see. Do I have this in my watch list now? I think. Let's see if I have a quick way. Sorry, I'll just paste here into wallet profiler. I want to see how quickly this was reflected. Oh, this is the wrong network. Fantom, let's see here. Switching to Fantom. Oh yeah, it updated here. And if I go back, let's see, this should update. It's running the queries again. Maybe it will show some extra entity here. There we go. Rarity. Boom. Yeah, so it sees the rarity manifested. Cool. Yeah, nice. So beautiful. It's everything connected. The UI, but everyone's like, the heart of it is the Fantom blockchain.
Correct. Yes.
So maybe that's a good place to wrap up. Thanks very much, Simone, for joining. È stato un piacere, as we would say in Italian. So that's a wrap for today. And yeah, if anyone of you who were watching like this video, please give it a thumbs up, smash the like button, share it with your friends, and remember to subscribe to our channel so you can turn on the notifications. You won't miss any alpha leaks. And thank you. Thanks again, Simone, for joining, and we will see you next week.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Alex. Bye-bye.